Hey, welcome back to the Infinite Woman Universe Show. Today we are going to talk about why you sabotage and what to do with this. So if you're a soul aligned service provider or a trauma coach who has sabotaged before or is currently struggling with sabotage, stay tuned because this video is for you. Hey, I'm your host, Angela, trauma healer and self-sabotage slayer. I help soul aligned service providers and trauma coaches slay self-sabotage so they can embody freedom, live on their terms, and do business their way. And today's content is obviously my favorite topic to talk about, to dive into. In the last 10 years of my healing journey, I have sabotaged over and over and over again, whether it's in my personal life, in relationships, and I have actually sabotaged an entire business that was on the rise to essentially hide from an abusive ex. And so I have spent a lot of time recovering and healing from that sabotage and, of course, from that abuse. And dealing with sabotage is really hard because it's like constantly dealing with failure that you know that you're doing. Now, you don't always know that you're doing it, but it does get to the point that you know that you're doing it. And it's hard to deal with that. So I would love to know here in the comments if you have struggled with sabotage and what you do to actually sabotage yourself. Like, what's your go-to thing? I would love to hear about that. Only leave what you feel safe, like commenting on. I know that this is a public space, so I want you to feel comfortable leaving those comments. I know that this can be a touchy subject, but I would love to hear from you. And since I have you, go ahead and like and subscribe. This just helps me reach so many other trauma coaches and soul aligned service providers so that we can build this beautiful sisterhood and community. So let's talk about why you sabotage. Okay, I know that there's a lot out there on sabotage about, well, it's your self-worth and it's your subconscious programming, which is all connected. Yes, very true. But the reason why you truly self-sabotage is because not every part of you is on board with what it is that you're doing. Not every part of you feel safe with who you're becoming. Not every part of you is in flow with what it is that you're trying to achieve. There are probably parts of you that are completely in resistance to your goals, your dreams. There are probably parts of you that still do not feel safe being seen and heard. And this is why it is such a struggle for you to show up consistently and to be all of you and to say things that you truly want to say. There are also parts of you that do struggle with your self-worth. And this might be really connected to your relationships and to your relationship with money, especially if you sabotage with money, which I've been totally guilty of. So you want to be aware of this. What happens is that when parts of you are not on board, when parts of you are in resistance, when parts of you don't feel safe, they are going to trigger old patterning and old habits so that you can self-sabotage, so that you can not show up fully, so that you can get drunk the night before and not make it to the live that you were supposed to do, or you weren't fully on board, or you were afraid to ask for the sale. Those kinds of things will happen because every part of you is not on board with what it is that you're doing. How do you get all of your parts on board with what it is that you're doing so that you no longer sabotage? The best way for me to tell you this, to help you right in this second, is to lean into these parts of you that are in resistance. And you know when these parts are in resistance, let's say, for example, when you go to post And it's this beautifully inspired idea, and you can't wait to post it. But as soon as you post it, there's all this doubt running through your mind. And sorry, my contacts are like drying up. And all this doubt is running through your mind. Instead, you listen to the doubt and go do the dishes instead. That's how you know that these parts of you are speaking up and you want to lean into them. But ultimately, the best way to slay self-sabotage, of course, is to get my course, the Self-Sabotage Slayer course, or to work with me one-to-one for 12 weeks with my program called Slay. And it takes you from sabotaging to complete an ultimate freedom. So if you're interested in that, I have spaces available. Make sure you comment or message me, whatever it takes to do that. And I will leave the Self-Sabotage Slayer course available down in the links as well. But you've got to lean into it. If you don't lean into it, it is constantly going to be a problem. If you struggle with leaning into this resistance and leaning into this doubt, there's actually a sign that you want to work on healing your trauma and unlearning your unhealthy childhood conditioning. If you're not doing these things on a regular basis, you're not really in a position to hold space for yourself, which is by far the hardest thing you'll ever learn to do. But this also means that there's a lot more work to be done. And as a soul aligned service provider and a trauma coach, you want to make sure that you are embodying what it is that you preach. You want to make sure that you are fully showing up as the person that you say that you are, because you want people to trust you. You want people to buy from you. But if you're not embodying what it is that you teach, people are going to know that. And this is why healing from your trauma and unlearning is so important. In fact, it's like one of the 3 stages of making sure that you're not sabotaging. It's healing your trauma, it's unlearning your unhealthy childhood conditioning, and it's doing business your way. And that's a huge thing to be aware of. If you are really not totally and completely aligned with the work that you're doing, then that could be why you are dealing with sabotage to begin with. Now, if you have all of these things in place and you know that this is the work that you want to do, there's so much desire and passion around it, then yeah, absolutely. Then we're dealing with self-sabotage on a deep level, and it's time to undig that and bring all that stuff up. And if you are truly struggling with self-sabotage, make sure you check out this playlist here. And one of the best things that you can actually start doing for yourself right now, if you're not ready to jump into the Self-Sabotage Slayer course or to work with me one-to-one, I will leave this guided meditation for you here. It's to help you reset and rewire your nervous system so that you can come into safety, because that will help you a lot. Because remember, a lot of your parts are in resistance because they are not feeling fully safe with what it is that you're doing, who you're becoming, and the work that you're doing. So I want you to be fully aware of that. If you are struggling with self-sabotage, it's time to lean in. It's time to figure out what it is that you want, because I promise you, telling yourself to shut up and get lost isn't helping you. Because if it was helping you, it would get lost and shut up by now, right? So be aware of the things that you are hearing when you're doing something that is scary or uncomfortable, and that will help you so much start to identify where these parts are. Okay, this is why you sabotage, and this is what you can do about it right now. I would love to hear from you in the comments about how you have struggled from sabotage and what is your go-to thing to sabotage yourself. I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear about it because I can also talk about it in more videos, but make sure that you like and subscribe so that the community grows, so we can reach more people. It just helps me so much, and it helps me better serve you. And make sure you check out the Self-Sabotage Slayer course, or if you would like to work with me one-to-one, just let me know in the comments, and I will see you all later. Bye.